Hi, and thanks for coming to watch this video from Carolina Varsity. We are talking about the North Carolina High School football playoffs, and right now we're going to talk about some 2AA West game, and this is number 5 Mount Pleasant, who has a 6-5 record, coming from the Midwest pod, playing number 4 Maiden, who has an 8-3 record out of the West pod. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yes. I'm Jeff Miller, and one thing I do know about Maiden, they can put the points up. They've had 3 games this year where they put up 60, and 3 games this year where they put up over 50, and 1 game where they put up 49 points or just over 40. And they've been held very little in a couple of their games. And 2 of those games were 49-20 loss to High Brighton and a 35-12 loss to West Caldwell. But outside of that, Maiden's been pretty strong offensively, and they showed it a couple weeks ago at Lincolnton when they won 65-47.
So Maiden is putting up 321 yards rushing a game, 163 yards passing a game. So that's nearly 500 yards of offense. 71 TDs they've had this year. That's pretty impressive. When I looked at some of the stats on Maiden, the takeaway for me was they're probably not a very good pass defense team. And I say that, and this is, again, very subjective off of just a very small amount of data. I didn't look at every game that they played in the stats, but on the season, Maiden only has 3 sacks, and they only have 4 interceptions. Now, we would need to look and see how much passing has taken place against them, but that's kind of one of my first takeaways is that it looks like if you can throw the ball, you're probably going to have a better opportunity of scoring against this defense. Maiden does give up a lot of points. What about Mount Pleasant?
Well, one thing I gather on Mount Pleasant is they beefed up their non-conference schedule early.
Mm-hmm.
Playing teams like Robinson, who's a 3A team. They're 9-2, I believe, and they played another good team in Hickory Ridge.
Right.
And then Central Gabarus they opened up with 3 pretty good 3A teams right there. And I think that has helped them, be competitive in their conference.
Right.
They only have 2 conference losses. One of them was to Monroe, and that was a pretty convincing loss. But outside of that, Mount Pleasant has also been putting up some points, but their defense has allowed less than what Maiden has allowed. So it's going to kind of even out right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think if Maiden gets a jump start on Mount Pleasant, then it's theirs.
All right. Well, the Carolina Varsity High School football report is predicting a Maiden 51-39 win. So that's 90 points that is predicting will be put up in this game. As we were talking about this the other night, it certainly looks like this will be a high-scoring game, and the way that the defenses balance out and offenses, I think Maiden has probably got I don't want to say significantly better, but they've got a better offense. But Mount Pleasant appears to have a little bit better defense, and that should pull the game closer, how much those 2 balance out. The report does its things based off of the same type of data. So, and you also got to look at teams that, each one has played. Now, for me, one of the things that I think that is in in Maiden's favor is the win over Lincolnton.
Yes.
Last game of the season, rolling into the playoffs, that's pretty big. Playing some tough teams like you mentioned that Mount Pleasant did in the conference play. Though they lost to Monroe, that's a good squad.
Yes.
JMR Robinson, they have proven to be a pretty good squad. So playing tough teams in regular season should kind of help here as they go into the playoffs. So be an interesting game up at Maiden Friday night. It should be a fairly close game. The report seems to think a 2-score game, and it should be a high-scoring game. So if you like points and offenses, this might be a good place to be Friday night. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.